Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Brightsea Town Council meeting of the 16th of October. I can have clerk in place, and I have apologies for absence.
Apologies from Councillors Barry and Morgan.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the minutes of the meeting of the 18th in front of you. Are there any comments or adjustments to the accuracy? No? Okay, thank you. Can I have a proposal? Thank you, seconder. Thank you. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Within those minutes included in those minutes is a reply to a question that we had last meeting that was, I think it was written in question, wasn't it?
No, it's an asked question.
I asked a question that we didn't have the answer to.
So Councillor Barry has asked me to read out the following. At the last council meeting, I had a question from a resident about groins in a particular location along the promenade. The resident was asking if they could be removed as they were potentially dangerous to swimmers and other water users. I took a photo and sent to Alan Howard at TDC, who is responsible for seafront maintenance, and his response is as follows. Hi Mick, I'm aware of the groins that you refer to and that they have not been maintained for many years. When I first got involved with the Coastal Protection Team about 30 years ago, I was made aware that these groins were not maintained or removable due to the area being deep, soft mud, which made physical or mechanical access to them completely unsafe. I think this means that there is not much that can be done to remove, but I have also been in discussion with Councillor Carr and TDC officers about replacing marker buoys, and it might be possible to locate one as a warning buoy, possibly a different colour near these buoys. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 3, the Mayor announcements. You have a copy of my arrangement, my attendance at meetings. However, I have a further statement to make, which is becoming a habit. You may or may not be aware that there has been an issue in the lower part of Lime Street as far as a right of way is concerned. I have been reminded that according to the Highways Act 1980, section 139 part 6, that it is the responsibility of the parish council to represent the issue with the local authorities, in this case the Highways Committee, Highways Department of Essex County Council. I can, if you wish, read out the actual act, but I'm not going to, but I am obliged to actually reply to it. The parish council has reported it to both the Highways Authority, Essex County Council, the situation, and we've also reported it through the Tendring District Council through our local councillors, Alan Goggin and Chapman. For the confirmation of the situation, for BTC to act rather than Essex County Council would be a breach of the Act and therefore possibly undermine any future enforcement of Essex County Council or another party. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, the comment from Brightsea Town Council is that we are now at a point whereas the Town Council have done both our duty and what we can in this situation. I offered to mediate last night and it was not accepted. It must be up to now the residents and the authorities who have jurisdiction over this issue to take it to its conclusion. So just to make that point, ladies and gentlemen, Brightsea Town Council does not have an opinion on this. We have been trying to, good offices, to try and resolve this and come to a final solution. We make no comment on the justification of the claim or whatsoever, and we now pass it on to the other authorities that should, in this case, deal with this matter. We would hope that really the residents of the local area can solve the situation between themselves, but that does not seem to be the case at the moment. I'll leave it like that, unless there is any questions.
Can we just say, we were going to put this into a press release tomorrow, and when it was thought that we shouldn't because of, but now can we put that back in the press release? Because obviously what you've done now is in the public domain.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So can we do that?
Yeah, fine with that. I just wanted to make that point at this meeting because there may be some questions from the Is there any other questions? No, thank you very much. Then I move on to item 4, which is the declaration of members' interest for CUNY and other registered boards. I think that's a no. Moving on then to Alan. Alan Godwin, Essex County Council. Would you like to come and take us to chair up the table?
Okay, here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Evening, everybody. St Joseph's are keeping their meeting to tonight, so what should we do?
What now?
Oh, not now.
Only a joke, Alan. Only a
I
joke.
know. Okay. Just to start off with a thank you to Tracy and to Julie. Tracy. Yes. I'm going to get it right. Been a very busy time. Thanks for your help and support. We've got a few things we've done, so thank you for that. Hopefully you've got my notes. As the mayor has probably has outlined to you, there has been one or two developments. So some of my notes written down on Tuesday are a bit out of date. I'll go through what I think is key at the moment. There's the devolution. I'll just kick off with that. Some comments on social media. At the moment, Essex County Council have put their position. Other councils have put their position. Papers are being prepared for the consultation of the public. The public will be consulted in November, I think. But again, this is in the hands of the government, not anybody else. And each side has put their arguments. There were 5 options that we narrowed down to 4. Some councils have made one decision, some councils have made another, and some councils have made an even different one. So at the moment, all the paperwork is in. The philosophy from all the councils, as far as I'm aware, Tendring, Colchester, Essex, is that they want to make as much information available as possible for the general public to make their own minds up about what their preferences were. So that's that. I attended a full council meeting this Tuesday. We're just out of Q2, getting into Q3. At the moment, there is a forecast shortfall of an overspend of 1%. I don't wish to, because that's many pounds. That's a big amount of money. But as a percentage of the total budget, 1% of 2,000 million is a very good number to have. And it was a similar number, or worse, this time last year. And I put down here planning to recover. So they're just readjusting their budgets as they go. So question 3, question 4, then we put it back there. I put down under my item 1 is my residents' library clinic. Thank you for those that attended. There were some residents from Tower Street. I thought I knew everything there was to know about Lion Street. Quite clearly, it's not the case. I learned some things on that night that I hadn't heard before. And as the mayor has said, there are issues going forward. I noticed that this week, Essex County Council have approved the purchase of the gardening equipment, the clearing equipment, and someone's submitting some details about a first aid course, which I believe will be going on, and a works programme, which is good. That's gone quite well. Sometimes I'm amazed. Victoria Place, to me, seems a fairly comfortable, easy place to negotiate. It's pretty obvious. There's almost a roundabout. I wouldn't have thought you could have got anything wrong. James started this campaign about a year ago, I think, perhaps, where people were coming down Ladysmith Avenue, coming to the first of the slip roads and turning right to go down to Station Road. So cutting the wrong way round. And this has happened a lot. And I tested the system. I don't know what system you all operate on, but my Google Earth, if I am in Ladysmith Avenue and I'm going down to the Hard, it doesn't tell me to go down New Street. It tells me to go to Victoria Place, and the words are turn sharp right. turn sharp right. And at the moment you'll turn sharp right, you're just coming past the entrance. So initially I thought, well, that's easy to sort that out. Then, because of your systems with the cameras, we then found someone that had come past the Spa, had got to that little junction where you sort of go over, and then you go over to Queen Street, and turn right there. Turn right by the solicitors, went round by the solicitors, went down by the barbers, turned left, and then went, and was still going the wrong way, and went past the chemist. I think it can't be any more ways than that. Then I come across another one, all this is on video, it's where he's come down the high street, or it's he or she, I don't know, and he's got to Dave the barber's, and the natural thing to do is to go straight on, because round here is coming, and they turn right. And they turned right, and they went here, they went past what I call the old toilets, turned left again, and are going down the wrong side of the road on the bus stop side. It just seems odd. And a lot of it is down to, I don't think it's residents doing it, I think it's visitors who are relying on the sat-nav. And sat-nav is telling them turn right, turn left. And what they really mean is turn right and turn left in a little bit. So I had a meeting on site on Monday with White Line Man, I'm going to call him that. They come up with a series of issues. They're going to put in some arrows and some no entry signs. They're going to try and replace the one that Jane told me that was knocked down by a car. And there were two other rusty poles that were down. And he then said, basically, you realise some of these poles shouldn't be here because it's a conservation zone and it's got to be black. So expect a bit of activity, but the idiots who were just following their sat-nav, I give up, I'll be honest. So that's that. Gardening equipment, site visit, White Line team. Consultation. I was asked last month to look at a bus shelter, bus stop in Thorrington. I took it to the Thorrington meeting, and they're going to deal with that. It's not ours. Next, just to remind you, coming out soon, one of my meetings that are coming up in towards the end of September is a review on the Clacton waste booking system. If you've got any views on it, if you have opinions, please let me know. And then we'll come back to Lime Street. I'm fairly confident everybody around the table has been spoken to at one stage or another. Some a few more times than others, and some a few less times than others. At the meeting before last, I was asked by the mayor and the council to look into the right of way. I'm not the world's expert, so some of the things I say are just things that I've been told, so please excuse me. Was to look into the right of way. Well, the first thing that I realised, or I found, is that there are four very different rights of way. And right of way number 11, there are four, this is on a website, there are four public rights of way. One is a footpath, one is bridle path, one is a byway, and one is restricted byways. Just to let you know, what I was charged to do was to find out about the right of way. The right of way on route number 11, which is in Lime Street, is number 1. It's the least descriptive of all of them. And route, the number 1, is a pedestrian can get past it. So if you've got a right of way, and many rights of way are around farm fields, etc. Sometimes a farmer will plough this way, or plough that way. Sometimes they'll put a water butt in, or they'll do something else. There's nothing wrong with that, they can do that, but the county council has an obligation to say, well, what is that doing to the right of way? Is it impeding the right of way? In some cases it is. So what the farmer then has to do is to put in an alternative. So just take a picture. There's a right of way from here to there. You come across something, there's something in the way. The farmer then has to make provision that you come up to it, turn right, turn left, and turn left again. So the only maintenance or any changes are if the right of way is impeded. So Lime Street has been inspected. There are things in Lime Street, some vehicles, some fences, some bit of haunching. There are some Harris fences. The bottom line is that on the rights of way for footpaths on Route 11, it's there, it exists, it doesn't have a problem. So that's it. That was what I was asked Charles to do. I've made sure that people were aware of all the options that you have. There is an option for the town council to change that if they want to. I think some people have already talked about going to number 2, which is a bridle way, which is the next step up. And bridle ways basically include bicycles and horses, but no vehicles. So at this moment in time, I thought I'd close the door to any further discussions. There's no query on the right of way in Lime Street. It exists, it's number 11, it's there is no problem. Nobody is stopped from using that right of way. Now, other people are taking a different view. I think I'll stop there, if that's all right, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Any questions from the council?
Just to save it, so you sent the man down, and then
Which one are you talking about?
the footpaths.
Right.
Right, you know, what did you do? And did he just look at the sign, which has been up there for quite some time, it says footpath?
I didn't say a man went down.
Didn't you? Oh,
No,
sorry.
that was the man with the arrows around the tree.
Oh, what, down Lime Street?
No,
No, okay.
I've been down Lime Street,
Yeah.
along with many other people I understand.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what signs are put up, it's a right of way. But it's a footpath right of way,
Yeah.
which is, I got told off for the other day, so I apologise. I've been calling it a man and a dog. I really got taken to the cleaners by that. It's not a man and a dog, it's somebody and a dog.
Was
A
there-
person.
Is there another question?
Yeah, it's on behalf of Councillor Barry, if that's all right. You sent me a question to read out. That's
Yeah,
okay.
no, yeah, fine.
So a question for County Councillor Goggin at the BTC meeting from Barry. To commemorate, I'll read it word for word if that's
Okay.
all right. So, to commemorate the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III, the England Coast Path was renamed the King Charles III England Coast Path. Essex features 300 miles of this national trail, most of which is open to the public, except for 2 stretches, Salcott to Jaywick and Jaywick to Harwich. These sections remain unopened, and attempts to clarify the reasons for the delay have yielded little information, particularly from Essex County Council representatives. Could you please share what you know about the status of these 2 sections and help us understand why their delivery has been so delayed, especially given that they are among the last in the country to be opened? And I'll add a supplementary. Is there any way we can move them along a bit?
Well, first of all, I thank Councillor Berry for his question. It's a good one. I'm aware of some developments. In fact, I think I wrote to you about the 2 weeks ago.
About King Charles III?
Yeah.
I've not really been talking about that too, unless it's crossed over with something else.
Weren't you involved with the Sunshine Coast?
Yeah,
Oh, well, I think that's where I wrote to you. You wrote to me, and I.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's-
listen.
yeah.
Thanks for the
So the
question.
thing, the King Charles III thing
Yeah.
isn't cycling, it's
Yeah.
walkers only.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
So I'm aware of these. I'm also aware that he's written to every other councillor, every other attending district councillor.
I don't know that.
I understand that, right? Because so yeah, it's a fabulous idea. It's an extension of the Sunshine Coast, which I think was mainly cyclists, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So yes, I mean, if the money can be found, the two places you mentioned, will you just remind me again?
There's two stretches, one Solcott near Malden to Jaywick.
Solcott, what?
Solcott, it's near Malden.
All right, okay.
And then there's the Jaywick to Harwich stretch.
Okay,
So I think Mick's looking at this from both Brightening Sea and the Tendring
okay.
angle.
Can we leave that and you, because obviously you
Well,
need
it's
to
a bit
go
like
away and
it's,
find
it's,
it.
yeah, but it's not just my vision.
No, I understand that, but
It's the whole of Essex.
yeah, if you could let us know at the next meeting.
I think Southern Essex has been done, I think. But
Just
okay.
what the delay is, you know.
I'm going to speak to the county councillors who have this.
Sure.
This is not in my patch. So I'll speak to the county councillors and see what their views are.
Okay.
But I'm sure, because I wrote back and said to the lady that sent me an update, and I said, well, it sounds like a great idea, pleased to be involved. I'm sure I copied you. Perhaps I may be wrong.
I don't know.
Okay, okay, sorry.
But I wonder if it may be worth me and Mick getting together and show.
Well, not until I spoke to the councillors.
Okay, any other questions from the council? Can I just ask one?
Sorry. You mentioned white lining person going around town.
Yeah.
Did they go and look at the old church, outside the old church? Because that's coming up for over a year. That we said we were going to get that done.
No, at the time it was, that seemed to me to be very, they're all pressing, they're all important, but that seemed to me to be really,
Yeah, it's just that resident came to us in July. We said it, or you said it was
Yeah.
going to be done in January, then it got cancelled, and then it was going to get done in this July.
I can chase that up.
I can chase that up. Just so I can, thanks.
Okay, are there any other questions? Therefore, can I open it up to the public? Does any of the members of the public wish to ask Alan a question of county council?
Well, can I just say that I went to Sowland last night with a bit of information, because the MPs of Essex are going up to meet the new devolution minister this month. Councillor Goggin is kindly going to contact Bernard and try and get the information, and he'll pass it on to us about what the MPs feel about this. That's the first thing, because Bernard Jenkins' feeling is, let me say, local government close to the citizen. That was that's what he said in the. He said that, but what I want to ask first of all, I spoke to Councillor Scott at Alsford, and I asked him about these neighbourhood area committees, and he said they're definitely coming in. He's read all his information because the previous minister who's obviously gone, he said yes, they will come in, but there may be people on there by invitation, which means people like charities, which not too democratic, but they're definitely coming in. And I know I was going to ask Councillor Barry and Chapman what they think about this, because this committee will be under the main unitary authority, and they will be reporting about local things to the main unitary authority, and it seems to me a bit complicated, but obviously we don't know until it's settled. But they will come in, whether it's 3 or 5, they're going to definitely come in. So Councillor Scott says, and I just wondered what you think of this thing. I don't think personally, if you have people appointed, which the what they were talking about for the government minister before back in June, it's not very democratic to say, oh well, have these business people come in and they will have their say, rather than coming back to maybe the parish councils. But that's all how I understand it. Obviously there may be more information, and the other thing is, as you know, the small parish councils like Thorrington and Bromley will disappear. They will be, according to Councillor Scott, Alsford would probably take over Thorrington. So that's, I just want you, what you thought about the views, and we've got Jane here and Councillor Steady, what they think. Because it's getting very confusing, I'm trying to find out as much as I can. But all these questions are gonna come up when you know it's 3 or 5, and that's my question, I'll stop there.
Am I answering to you or?
No, carry on.
Okay, but so I'm not turning my back. So thanks for the question. As always, nice and short and brief.
Well, it could be a brief paper, but I've been reading the white paper again, and
I've
that's a
since
long
found
big
out-
white paper.
I've since found out that the meeting of the MPs is a private meeting. So I'll ask Sir Bernard if there's anything that I should know out of it. I think I gather from the vast majority of people I've been speaking to, that the vast majority of MPs are pushing for the 5 as opposed to the 3. And that's all I know. So I think that's all I can tell you on that. If something comes out of it that's relevant. The other thing, we're back, unfortunately, back, as I said, on my point number, whatever it is, the last thing. It's almost as if we're in a bit of a time warp at the moment, because there are people trying to get their job, like local highways, we're trying hard to get all our jobs done. So we're working to a deadline to make sure we don't leave anything there. And that isn't necessarily a great idea, because it means that there's a bit of a slowdown. But at the moment, that's the way it is, sadly.
Jane wanted to say something.
I'm just gonna say I agree, it's confusing. None of us have got any idea, I think, if we're honest. But I must admit, I hadn't heard that any parish or town councils would disappear or be amalgamated.
That's Gary Scott,
I know, you wait till I see it.
Yeah.
But it's not something we've been told, is it, Brad? No. So, no, we've certainly not been told of any parish or town councils disappearing or being amalgamated.
I don't want, all I just want to say about the,
Changes really after, but
can I just say this about our local, the county council and the district councillors? I don't envy about the amount of work that they've got to do, and I think we should be grateful for them trying to get things sorted out before this all comes in, that's all I've got to say.
Okay, thank you. I just had one question while we're on this that I'm intrigued about. You say there's going to be a public consultation about this.
Yeah.
Do you know if the consultation is going to be the minister's decision, whether you like it or not, sort of consultation, or is it going to be, do you, the public, want 4 or 5, or 3, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Do you know which one it is of those?
I think I should ask Gary Scott, because he seems to know a lot more than everybody else. No, consultation is one of those things that we've all experienced it at one stage or another. The whole thing about this as it is, as I've said from day one, whereas previously most of the legislation that I've been involved with, and many of you have been involved with, has been persuasion. It has been, look, we think this is a good idea, will you try it, we'll pilot it somewhere. And that's why I think 42% of the country are already in this devolution movement, and they have been so for ages. The Mayor of Manchester, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, etc. The difference this time round is it's quite clearly and categorically and emphatically a decision the government will make. And my opinion, I don't know how they're going to gauge public opinion.
Okay, Alan, thank you very much for
Yeah,
that.
thanks,
Okay.
I'm off to,
Best of luck with that one.
okay, thank you very much.
We've got the Lime Street.
I will be sending it, I got the document from Essex that puts forward the argument that they put forward to the government for their view. I'm not going to send it out yet because it seems a bit inappropriate if it's just one. So I'm going to ask, tendering it, you've made a decision. Are you telling the public why you made that decision? It's not aimed at you, will you?
I think it's minuted. Yeah, we've already done it.
No, I know you've done it, but are you putting the document
I
out?
don't think we're specifically sending a document out, but it certainly was full explanation was given at council, which
Okay.
would have made it, minuted and online, wouldn't it? So
That's in the
people,
press as well.
and it has gone to the press,
What
yeah.
the leaders
So
say.
this document that I've got, I'm going to send it out to you electronically, don't print it, it's 200 pages. Anyway, but I'm going to send it out once I know what other people are doing.
Okay.
But it makes reference to the Essex stance, and then makes reference to the Colchester stance and the tendering stance. But it's not a justification, but it's how they've arrived at their decision. And the same as I put in my report, you would expect me to tell you what I did. I voted in favour of 3. I've done about 20 hours research. That's not everything, but the research that I've done has left me with that view that that's the best system.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Thank you. If I can, thank you, you're going now. If I can therefore move on to item 6 now, please, the update from the district councillors. Should we go first, Jane?
See you all again later. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye, people.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
No, nothing to add, any questions? Thank you very much. Graham?
Yeah, just to add to the report of the Assistant Director of Sport and Culture, very interesting actually, when I was brought up about different play equipment for children, because it's all about mental health issues, and they are looking at some of we looked at the parkour equipment, you know, the free running, so I think maybe we should revisit that and see if we can bring it around and carry on.
Okay. Any questions?
It's not directed at either one of you, and I don't think you may not have an answer, but it was more, back in March, we had that consultation about the new local plan coming in for next year. We were told at the time that that would be going out to, the stage 2 consultation would be starting September, October. And I'm guessing it's not. December, cool. Thank you.
Sean, is that a question or?
I'm sorry. I was putting my wig back on.
Okay, thank you. Stuart, no other questions? Is there not we received a written response from,
Yes, there was a written
Yeah.
report from Rick.
and we'll save any questions for the next meeting, I think. So if we can move on to item 7 then, please, and the reports, the team's reports, and we'll start at the top with the facilities and community assets.
Okay, meeting was held with the FCA on the 13th of October. Following issues were discussed. The waterfront development strategy was a meeting scheduled for the 28th of October. We're not going to be able to take that any further prior to the meeting as we're waiting for an update from Councillor Morgan, who's got the audacity to be on hold at the moment. The same with Boat Park, there's an issue with the gate, the lock on the gate at Boat Park. Councillor Morgan is going to be tasked with having a look at that, because it's slightly more involved than just replacing the lock, the whole gate may need to be in place. Bateman's Tower Cafe was discussed. Councillors Atkinson, Howard, Morgan and Steady, member of the architect, Ben Parmenter on the cafe site. There has been some general progression, which is positive, but a schedule of works was submitted to council, and unfortunately, we know that they are behind already in the schedule of works. It was agreed at the FCA committee that we would want, or we would give them 10 days to get back on track, and if they haven't, then it would be a question for council as to how we progress that, whether we write a strongly worded letter or something stronger needs to take place to make sure they actually adhere to the schedule, otherwise we're right back to where we started. Lower Park playing fields, there's been some conflicting information come through from the scouts about what they want to do with the area which is currently covered by a container which is used by the rugby club, and at the moment is storing some stuff from the rowing club that caught fire. The implication was initially they wanted it to be moved so they could extend their quartermaster stores, but discussions with councillors contradicted that. It may be that that doesn't happen for a few years, which does beg the question, why are we asking the rugby club to remove their container now? As part of the Western Prom subcommittee, Lower Park playing fields will be discussed. for, improvement plans. So it may not be necessary to get the rugby club to move forward. So we've asked the clerk to write to the scouts to clarify that, just to make sure that we know what's happening. Western Prom Subcommittee, we're awaiting a date for the next meeting, pending the information that comes from a discussion with Pendle District Council around assets, costings, etc., etc. Bruntsea Community Centre, we wrote to them last month, you may remember, asking them for their insurance about all licences and insurances in relation to the activities being held at the centre. They have told us that they have the licences and insurances in place, but we've asked for copies of the documentation, and we still need to arrange a meeting date pending that documentation being received. It was also agreed that Councillor Atkinson would have a look at the lease prior to that meeting. Lime Street, email from the local resident was noted, and I think we discussed Lime Street subsequent to that meeting. A report from the grounds manager, it was agreed to ask him in relation to the CCTV covering the boatyard, and can the tap at the harbour be fixed as soon as possible. And also there was a recommendation of the cost of a high volume pump for the boating lake before taking forward to finance, so that's the only real recommendation from the FCA for the full council.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions? I take Michael's vote.
You say they're going to install a high pressure pump to empty and refill.
If finance give them the money, yes, you'd like to get an updated, much better version.
Is it all fine? Explaining that to the members of the boat club.
You can do, but we haven't got the permission yet, mate.
No, well, I will make that clear. to them.
Yeah.
They'll be very pleased to see that on the books.
Graham, next.
Yeah, just to say, Lara Park Clanfield.
Yeah.
The Councillor Barry, I think what it was the multi-use claims area, so it's not going to be the whole shooting.
No, just the,
Which is just going to be the multi-use claims area.
Sorry, was there another question? No, thank you. Okay. Yeah, can I have a proposition, proposed amendment, please, second? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. We can then move on to ENT then.
Yeah, we had, a few things brought up. The caravan parked on Western Prom, but we think the chap has been there far too long. And we can't sort of get him to come off. Councillor Barry is going to investigate further with Anthony Payne from Parking Partnership to see if he can move things on. The bus shelters opposite Community School, Councillor Barry would ask if the garden roof is a potential option, because we had a request from Councillor Henry to clean the shelter out, and we're trying to think of ways of either bringing it into an environmental look, which is not too keen on. We went on to 20 plenty placards, we're looking to new designs and to go ahead with that at a certain later date. We've had the War Memorial signs discussed tonight, I think, with Alan, to alter the one-way system. Or not to alter the one-way system, to make it more clearer. I have to say, I was, when I first moved here, one of the idiots that did go right when I came down that road. As I say, I left over too, so, that's quite a long while ago, but, we then discussed the, recycling site at the Lozenge, which has now become a dumping site. And I did suggest that we move the whole thing, get rid of the whole thing, and put the Tetra Pak somewhere else. And we were thinking of the fire station. I'm going to contact the fire station to see if we can do something with them and get rid of the whole area, because it's just a dumping site. Councillor Steady brought up about a motor scooter parking area on Victoria, at the end, down the end of Victoria Place, which was discussed.
I think that's about the wildlife animal science. I thought Kate was going to ask Sally about
Yeah,
whether
we'll
we,
send an email.
if you're
We'll
about.
wait to quarter four, we'll wait to see what happens.
Yeah, okay. I think that's about all that's interesting.
Okay, I've read that and I just wanted to be specific. The recommendations for small animal signs. Clark would ask county council, that's been done, is it? Well,
I think we got a reply back from Annie, didn't we?
it's what I thought, I wasn't sure.
I understand, I know
No, I
it's
haven't, for the recommendation approved tonight, then I'll.
Okay, yeah, I'm just wondering that, okay. So, ladies, can I
Can
have
I
a,
propose that we accept these?
yeah, you proposed and I have a
Just
second?
one,
Oh, sorry.
just one thing, in relation to the reciting of the, waste, I think it's
What,
important.
the lozenge?
The lozenge, yeah, I'm all in agreement that, you know, it's become a dumping ground and it needs to be moved, but I think, if the fire brigade don't take it, I'd be loath to see it go entirely, because this is Tetra, it's the only Tetra recycling
Yeah.
point.
That was just one of the spots we were thinking about, but there may be other spots.
But I don't think the notes make it clear about if
Okay,
it's removed,
yeah.
it needs to go somewhere else.
That'll be noted in these minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a couple of things, the 20th penny placards, I've met with Councillor Mitchell and Penny, this evening to come up with a new initiative on that, so let's watch this space. And then on the waste bin review, I've taken that forward, in as much that I work with the town clerk to contact other councils to see how they handle everything they've got. I must be an initial, you know, in discussions, it's a bit of a patchwork quilt to be honest with you. So they will be bringing forward recommendations at a later stage.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, Jean, I presume you're going to propose those?
Can I propose these?
Yes. Graham, second. All those in favour? Thank you very much indeed. Moving on to welfare and resident services.
Oh,
Ooh.
can I have a pound for every attendance allowance before my meeting and then I can retire? No? Oh, all right then. No, just to add to mine was, I was asked to open last Saturday the men's shed. And I got quite involved with that because under the mental health. So, it all fell into place. We've just come back from Australia where it was a huge thing out there and, trying to find out a bit more information with the men's shed in Australia. Once they opened, they found the suicide rate actually went down 40%. And, people, I don't know whether people are aware, but Tendring is the second highest suicide rate in the country.
Really?
Yeah, it is, we were first, so, yeah, and it wasn't all aimed at young people, they found that particularly men, you know, as I tried, what I was saying before I opened it was, women will go shopping or will go to a coffee morning or something, men don't do anything like that, and the suicide rate, particularly in men, is much higher. So, yeah, that's how I got involved with the men's shed, but, and I have to declare, I had both had flowers.
Bacon sandwich. And a bacon sandwich.
And yes, I had a bacon sandwich as well.
Very nice, it was, Penny.
You had one as well?
I had as well, yeah, very nice. It was,
Hang on a second, you haven't declared this.
I know, I did declare my flowers, I forgot the bacon sandwich.
Right, Jean.
Yeah, I think that's originally why Winterfest was first brought out, wasn't it, because of the suicides in this town alone. Jane, can I just ask you, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if it was last year, we met with Boots, chemist, manager, etc. And there were going to be various improvements. And recently I've had a family member that's been quite ill, and so I've spent quite a bit of time with Boots. And it really is, I mean, it really is like quite an ordeal going in there now, because there's never anybody on the counter. I wonder if it might be possible, and this is no aspersion on the staff, I think they're brilliant. The conditions they're working under there are unbelievable, really. They're all squashed behind the pharmacy counter. and doing their best. With a lot of people queuing up. And when I went in there one day, there was only one lady in there, and she was on her own in there doing everything. Because they do parcels, not parcels, but deliveries. I just wondered if we could have another meeting with them.
The same thing, I've had problems collecting prescriptions for somebody I collect for, and I've actually asked today when the shop manager is back from her holiday, because she's off for 3 weeks.
Is it the same manager as we met with?
Nadia, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a different area manager, Michael here, and for the same reason, I can tell you that they've had a survey done on the shop, and they cannot do the extension that they wanted to do. They were talking about going out and up, because footings won't take it. They have looked at the restaurant along the High Street.
Yeah, because they were going to look at premises before, weren't
They're in a situation that if an empty shop unit comes up or something that is bigger than what they've got, they've asked anybody to let them know, basically, because they can't do what they need to do on the premises they've got. They're looking to expand somewhere.
But just a redesign would help, wouldn't it? Because the design is just,
I think they just
Not
need to be a
workable.
pharmacist.
yeah.
Yes, I was going to say,
Well, they
I've had,
basically are, there's nothing much on the shelves.
I've had some discussion with the local NHS people about it, and the biggest problem throughout the country is pharmacists.
Yeah.
They just can't get the pharmacists.
Mhm.
They can get people to serve the stuff, but they can't actually make the drugs up quickly enough.
But they're also having problems, when I went in to collect this particular prescription, not this week, last week, was the actual pharmacist was doing blood pressure.
Yeah.
And
They offer it, don't they?
I did sort of say, you don't have the room all the time to be doing this. You
And
need
now
to
flu
be
jabs as well.
expensive.
They're
Yeah,
offered,
yeah.
Yes, okay.
So, yeah.
So I'm waiting for Nadia to come back, so as soon as she gets back, I'll get her down.
Any other questions of Chad? Okay, I don't think we need to second or approve that. Okay, Jane, moving on then to communications, John.
Yes, Chair, quite brief, you'll see that there are 2 main action points from the last communications committee. The committee is still sort of training itself on social media. It will continue to do such until we're quite comfortable with the way it's going to go correctly. We're talking about a survey and how to disseminate the information from there, and we're hoping that's going to come up very soon. And really, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, there isn't any recommendation.
No.
Okay, I think we just, so if we then can move on to item 8, finance.
I'm doing that one.
Yep.
The first part, anyway. We've got before you the finance minutes and the recommendations. Before I recommend their cards, we were asked by a member of the public about the public allotment, or community allotment. I think we put Julie on a little bit of the spot. She wasn't aware, because she's been missing for over 3 weeks, that the community allotment people have got another allotment, but it is paid for, and it's paid for until the end of the year, which was part of the question. So, which will answer your question. So other than that, all the recommendations are in the report, so I'll just move to minutes.
I was going to ask for any questions. First,
Sorry.
Don't jump the gun.
I think there is just one note, and I presume that's being processed, is that in the minutes it mentions Japanese knotweed. And in further conversation, we found out that the insurance was worth the money of having. It's 10 years, it goes for 10 years, and included in the insurance is coverage if that company goes bankrupt, it gets transferred. So after that, I think we decided to pay it.
Sorry, can I also say that the second treatment has been done,
And yes,
so we are
so we
into the
received,
second
we've been made to pay.
Well done.
We have paid.
We have paid, excellent. Okay, so if I assume, Jane, you're proposing that?
Yes.
Yes. Second, John,
everybody?
Yes, sorry, all agreed. If I can move on to part B, which I think, John, you're.
Yes, Chair. Councillor Payman and I have examined the accounts for September 2025 and under the delegated authority to the Finance Committee confirmed that 28 payments in the sum of £13,599.74 have been authorised and paid. The statement of balances on the following accounts are to be accepted. Current account £39,870.15p. Business premium account £28,839.54. Business premium account £639.68. CCLA Public Sector Deposit Fund £52,094.77. Instant Access account £24,251.16. And the current T2 account £30,347.25. All of those accounts made a total of £176,042.54. Our income for September 2025 was £22,283.42. Our expenditure for September 2025 was £30,569.74. Our income to date, that is from 1st of April to 30th of September 2025, is £266,163.83. Our expenditure today, 1st of April to 30th of September, is £227,329.93. Our employee payments paid for the month of September 2025 were £19,589.92. And our barter card payments for September £1,207.20. Chair, those are the examinations of the accounts.
Thank you very much. And John, you proposed those, I will second them. All those, oh, you have a question?
Yes. What's the difference between a current account and an instant access account?
The instant, I can answer that. The instant access account is actually a deposit account. And it's called instant access because you can take the money immediately, whereas quite a lot of deposit accounts, you've got to give 30 days notice or something like that. So it's a deposit account of which we earn interest on.
What sort of interest?
Which one is it? The
Instant access.
is it the Unity?
No, that's the.
Yes.
It is, okay, and I believe that it was 2.8, but I think it's now come down to 2.2. That's, there was an adjustment, I think, in the last week or two. Okay, so John has proposed, I second, all those in favour? Thank you very much indeed. Moving to item 9 then, planning. Jean.
Yes, planning was very thin on the ground. September, but you all have the minutes of the planning that we did. Do I like to move that we accept?
Okay, are there any comments on this? No? Michael, you're seconding? All those in favour? Oh, you were there? Okay, I will say. All those in favour? Thank you. So, moving on then for to item 10, questions from the public, my favourite part. Do we have any questions from the public? Yes.
Malcolm Morris, on the devolution, will we lose our tendering concession for parking?
Probably.
Yes.
We're not 100% certain, but probably.
I mean, the tendering might be there, so for sure we will lose that concession. Whether the unitary will give us a concession is
It's up to our representative to stand up and ask,
yeah.
wherever that will be.
Well, we don't know. That's the trouble, none of us know.
Well, we spin the unitary down as to what it's going to be. And so I'm afraid that's not a question we can answer until we've established the unitary, but I'm sure it will be
That's something for you to think about.
Yeah, no, I'm sure
It's
we'll
on the
get
list.
part of the negotiation.
Thanks, Ben, for that.
Any other questions from the public? Yes.
Question has been asked before and never had a reply to. The music, drink and food festival, which was a good success again, and is growing, which is nice to see. It's also become a music festival. So if they can hold a music festival down there successfully. There's no reason why the one on Post Green cannot go down there. That would solve the problem of closing the roads, interfering with the bus routes of older people, White House can't get on the buses, and all the rest of the inconvenience. And another note, recent correspondence said that everyone around Hurst Green was asked for their opinion on it. We weren't. That's a lie. And hope I'll get a reply this time.
Okay. Anybody want to reply to me? Thank you, all of you. I mean, I suspect Mick Barrett would reply if he's here. Graham?
My own personal opinion is because the nature of the food and wine is probably different to the
Gives money to the
Because-
Lido, all those people down there.
but basically the reason it was moved was because it was too much of a
No, the reason it was moved, because you never controlled you had hard rock music, local Colchester band, and you had people from Colchester come late at night.
make them what, sorry?
You had people from Colchester come there late at night, cause problems. You never policed it properly. That was the only reason it moved. And there's another point as well, there are local residents that are making inquiries with environmental about the level of noise. So that'll be another problem.
Councillor Howard?
Just to say, the difference is, sorry, I'll get the leg round. At the food festival, there's a lot more stalls. I mean, at the music festival, there's only a few stalls, and you know, the music, I think, at the food festival is only in the one,
Yeah, but it's still music.
in the 110. Yeah, but it's not really, it's
The
not
point is
really,
it's still music.
yeah,
Without
it's
noise.
only really acoustic music, it's not,
Doesn't matter what music it is. does it?
yeah.
It just shows that you can hold that sort of event down there.
But I wasn't aware that, I thought everybody had been asked on Hurst Green for their opinion.
And the surrounding area.
How long ago was that when they first started there, I think? Yeah, you didn't hear anything then.
I mean, there's even people in the
I mean, because
new
the
builds
music
off of
festival,
John Street
the music-
complaining about the noise now, because since the trees were cut down in Huddett's old garden, the noise is rifting through
the
there as
music
well.
only goes on to, it doesn't go on till late now though, does it? I mean, it only goes on to, I mean, on Sunday it only goes on till 5 o'clock. It's not a late.
That's not late, is if you've been listening to it all night.
Well,
Can I just interrupt, because I'm not that experienced in these things, but my situation is on this is, as a chairman of this organisation, is if we're asked, we refuse, or we agree or refuse. If the music festival asks us to go somewhere else, we would be more than happy to facilitate that. So I think, to be perfectly fair, maybe the music festival people themselves should be the person where this argument takes place.
You've given permission to use the green.
We give permission, I agree, but if we were asked to give permission to put it on Western Front, we would as well, I suspect. So I think it's part of their requirement to ask. Yeah, I mean, we will bring this up, and certainly I make the point about when we're asked next year, we will ask the organisers, have they gained the permission of the people around it? You'll appreciate it's not for us to tell people what to do, we're open to whatever they want. Can I move that on then? Is there any other questions from the public? No? Okay, thank you very much. Disappointing. If I can move on to the town clerk.
I only have one item, and it's from the Carnival Association.
oh, sorry.
Go on.
The Carnival Association.
Off you go.
Just so I stand out here, so you know I left.
The Carnival Association requests permission to hold car boot sales on each bank holiday Monday from April to September 2026 on the Western Promenade. The dates in question are the 6th of April, 4th of May, 25th of May and 31st of August.
And I presume they check out as far as written service direct. Are we content with that proposal?
Oh, yes.
Yes. All those in favour? Yes. Fine. Okay, that's fine.
That's it.
Jane, you can come back in now.
Didn't hear that, did you?
Okay, ladies.
Sorry, before you close the meeting.
Two other people.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
No?
No, I was just going to say, I just need to make councillors aware that we have a member of staff who is off sick and will be off for at least 2 weeks, if not longer, which is adding pressure to Terry and Stitch. Particularly this week, because Mark's also on holiday. Mark will be back next week, but.
Yeah, can I just say, we've got lots coming up, especially with the local government reform. So, I know that, you know, what Jane sort of highlighted is that we're quite busy office. And I know that, this week we've had reports to follow, extra paperwork for the meeting. I wonder whether we could just say that the meetings like the ENC and the FCA, could we not make it on the same week as full council? Could we make it? Basically because then all reports would be in by the Friday, give the staff an opportunity to get all the paperwork out at once.
I'm perfectly sympathetic with that, and I think maybe if the chairs of the different meetings want to talk to Tracy and the administrator and Julie and sort that out.
Can't see a problem with that.
I mean, I think the only one that's inflexible is the planning, isn't it?
Yeah, planning, we have finance on the same week as council because of payments to be authorised.
Right.
But this week we did have FCA on Monday, which added to another meeting, we're getting notes ready.
Okay, well, I think Graham's made a good point, maybe we can have a chat
Yeah.
between ourselves and sort that one out.
Yeah.
Okay, you had a point?
I just wondered, and probably a question for councillor Coggin actually, but Tracy might be able to answer it. The top three that we give him, the list of potholes, etc. Do you know what's on that list at the moment?
No. Julie normally deals with that.
Julie
I can
does,
ask her.
does she? Yeah, would you be able to let me know which one it is? Thank you. I just noted on his report, he says it's the last meeting he gave details of the top three for November. So does that mean that at the minute we give the details of the top three for December? Because that's sometime isn't it?
No, I think he's got his,
Has he got his wrong?
yeah.
I'll speak to Julie, thank you, thanks.
Okay, if there's any other questions of mine? Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I close the meeting at 1 hour and 5 minutes for those who have voted on it. And you take 25 minutes off the vote.
I'm going to be